Relationships are the most important thing in any business. They make it or they break it. Look people straight in the eye when you're talking to them. You need a bloody good memory to tell a lie. So you come up with the truth. Don't be frightened to tell customers and people what they have to hear rather than what they want to hear. Don't chase the turnover. Look at the value and the quality and gain speed slowly. At the end of the day, you can employ academic sense. You have to make business and common sense. And our sector on a can do will do is how to get the job done. My late grandfather was a local farmhand who started with a horse and cart filling bags of coal at the local train station, living around the local villages in the Renfrewshire area. Grandpa died when Dad was only 9 years of age, and Dad then left school at the age of 13 and became a partner in the family business to help my grandmother save the business and drive it forward. Now, a bit of the old school, Dad would not risk the family fortunes, and he believed he'd taken them as far as he could. So he sold to Grampian Holdings plc. My own background was a bit like Dad. I started my apprenticeship when I probably could first walk. I was always around my dad as class as Donald Malcolm's shadow, and I learnt the business from the grassroots all the way up. I left school at 16, went in through the workshop, went driving for a spell, road foreman, traffic office, traffic manager, depot manager, and eventually moved on from there. When Dad's health started to fail, I was put into the PLC board on my 28th or 29th birthday. That was quite an experience for me. As I say, I left school at 16. I didn't do a full education. I'll be honest with you, in 2005, I decided I'd had enough of trying to convince the shareholders that investment's in the right place, because quite honestly, they just weren't listening. So we took the business, my brother and I, from public back to private in 2005. And again, back to the way we did things, we're investing in the future and responding by the day. And looking back now, some 17 years later, I've got absolutely no regrets. We made the right decision. I treat every employee in the business as an extension of the business, as part of the wider Malcolm family. It wasn't until after Dad passed away, I actually realised how much Dad did for families in times of need. And that's why I think we're into third generation employees in the business. And I hope that continues on. Life's all about people. The branding is the entry point to any business. The people behind that branding make that business work or not. We'll not be employees, suppliers or customers. Relationships are the most important thing in any business. They make it or they break it. We've got a very flat management structure in Malcolm's. I can walk through any depot. Andrew can stop me and say, Andrew, how are we today? Andrew, can I ask you a question? My management don't look over their shoulder. Who's talking to Andrew? Who's talking to any other directors? Our business has got that culture that people can talk to anybody. Had we grown the business in the PLC market, I'll be quite honest with you, I wouldn't have been here, because a lot of the values that I was born and bred, that I inherited from my father, we've got in our business from a lot of our workforce as well. At the end of the day, PLCs don't recognise that. People are just a number in a PLC. It's all about growth. It's all about like-for-like sales. It's all about risking the business, liquidity in the shares, thing going that way. That's not what our business is about. We're into quality, not quantity. I've gone more for organic growth around the people I believe in. And again, we breed our home-bred management. So then that's key as well. But the only thing I would say if you're getting involved in the transport sector, gain speed slowly. Be sure what you've got in place is quite sustainable. My dad used to always say, at the end of the day, you can employ academic sense. You have to make business and common sense. And our sector on a can do will do is how to get the job done. We're 100 years old this year. So we have actually achieved 100 years, which is just a great achievement. I've got 3 children in the business. My brother's got 2 in the business. I sit down with my children on a regular basis and ask the question, what do you want out of life? I want them in it because they want to be in it. Because they want to be in it, they'll do it well. And that'll set the scene for the rest of the business. But Dad followed a career that he thoroughly enjoyed, and he loved every minute of it. But I remember during his illness, during all his operations, the specialist tried to tell me to tell your dad to take it a bit easier. Work was a tonic to my dad. This got my dad up every morning and motivated him. So Dad got a real kick out of that. And he followed his heart and his head. And that's what built the business into where it is today. We involve the next generation of what we're doing. Because any investment we're putting in today for the next 3 to 5 years plus, they're going to inherit that. So they have to part that decision today. And even with our own management team and our workforce, we try and engage with them as much as we can to make sure we're moving in the right direction. The people in Malcolm's understand opportunities in Malcolm's and threats probably more than I do, because they're living it and they're breathing it. They're at the front end. So that's very important to us. Look people straight in the eye when you're talking to them. Always remember at the end of the day, what you say is right. As Dad used to say many years ago, you need a bloody good memory to tell a lie. So be economical with the truth. What you see is what you get. And then don't be frightened to tell customers and people what they have to hear rather than what they want to hear from that point of view. And as I've often said, when you get to a situation in a business, look internally. There's more answers internally what you're doing in a business than is externally. Be aware of what your competition's doing, but don't spend too much time obsessed by them. I've actually got my shadows in the business because I've got 2 sons, I've got a nephew, I've got a niece, I've got a daughter, and I've got a son-in-law. Maybe at the end of the day, I'm trying to guide them what the business is about and the values of the business. But at the same time, I need to let them make their own mistakes, let themselves make their own experience as well from that point.